At her baby shower, while friends laughed and balloons floated in the air, Olivia's heart broke. She overheard a quiet conversation and saw a message on her husband's phone. That's when she found out Ethan was planning to leave her after the baby was born. But what happened next shocked everyone. The soft glow of the afternoon sun filled the room, bouncing off pink and gold balloons that said, "Baby girl." Olivia, 8 months pregnant, sat in the middle of the room, surrounded by friends, laughter, and cheerful conversations. It was her baby shower, and everything seemed perfect. Her best friend, Jenna, had organized the day, making sure every detail was just right. It was meant to be a day filled with happiness before her new life as a mother began. While chatting with some of the guests, Olivia set her drink down on the table. She noticed Ethan, her husband, standing by the hallway, speaking quietly on his phone. He had his back to her, but she could still hear part of the conversation. "I just have to wait till after the baby's born, then I'm out," he said, in a tone that sounded urgent. Olivia's stomach twisted. She tried to brush it off, telling herself it was just the pregnancy hormones making her overthink things, but the words kept echoing in her mind. She tried to ignore it and continued with the conversation, but the uneasy feeling wouldn't go away. A few minutes later, Jenna pulled Olivia aside, looking pale and shaking. She held out her phone to Olivia, showing her something that made her heart drop. While helping Ethan find a charger earlier, Jenna had accidentally seen his text messages. The messages were clear. Ethan had been planning for months to leave her after the baby was born. He said he couldn't do this anymore and was only staying until the baby was safe. But the worst part, he was already seeing someone else, a woman from his gym. Olivia's world tilted. She felt frozen in place, unable to move or speak. Her heart raced as her surroundings blurred. The voices in the room faded. The life she thought she was building with Ethan, the man she trusted, was falling apart, and she was the last person to know. The shock was overwhelming. Her hands trembled as she looked at Jenna, who had no words left to say. The weight of betrayal hung heavy in the air, and Olivia felt the walls of the room closing in on her. Olivia Carter was 32 years old, known for her talent as an event planner. She had a great eye for details and a heart that always tried to make people happy. Her life hadn't been easy growing up. Her parents had divorced when she was young, and their constant fighting made her childhood full of pain and confusion. Because of that, Olivia had promised herself that one day she would build a happy, peaceful home of her own. Now, being pregnant, all she wanted was to feel safe, loved, and secure. But pregnancy had been harder on her emotions than she expected. Every day she craved a sense of stability that sometimes felt just out of reach. Ethan Carter, her husband, was 34 years old. He worked as a personal trainer and was known for his charm and easy smile. When Olivia first met him, he made her feel special, like she was the only person in the room. They had fallen for each other fast, a whirlwind romance full of passion and big dreams. They got married quickly, believing love was enough to carry them through anything. In the beginning, Ethan was loving and supportive, always lifting her spirits. But as time passed and real-life challenges showed up, things changed. Bills, work stress, and adult responsibilities started piling up, and Ethan seemed to shrink away from it all. Lately, he had been moody, distant, and quick to anger, blaming it on long hours at work or pressure from his clients. Olivia felt the shift, but tried not to make a big deal out of it. She told herself it was just a rough patch. There were flashes of the good old days that kept Olivia hanging on. She often remembered the night they met at a charity event, laughing over glasses of cheap wine, sharing dreams about the future. Their wedding was simple but full of love, with vows whispered through tears. For a long time, she believed they were meant to last. But after the first year of marriage, the cracks began to show. Ethan didn't like to talk about problems. He wanted things to be easy, fun, like they were at the start. Olivia, on the other hand, was ready to build a real life with all the work and commitment it needed. Jenna Martinez had been Olivia's best friend since college. Fierce, funny, and loyal, Jenna had seen Olivia through all of life's ups and downs. She was the kind of friend who would fight the world for Olivia without hesitation. Jenna had helped plan the baby shower and had been the first to notice Ethan's strange behavior lately. She didn't want to upset Olivia, so she kept her worries to herself until the truth could no longer be hidden. Olivia's mother, Diane, was a complicated part of her life. Diane loved Olivia, but her love often came with sharp comments and endless advice. She meant well, but her words sometimes hurt more than they helped. Growing up, Diane would often criticize Olivia's choices, planting small seeds of doubt that Olivia still carried inside her. Even now, as a grown woman about to become a mother herself, Olivia sometimes heard her mother's voice in her head, questioning if she was good enough. Then there was Marcus, Ethan's business partner at the gym. Marcus was the kind of man who always seemed to know more than he said. He had a front row seat to Ethan's daily life and struggles. Deep down, Marcus knew Ethan was hiding things from Olivia, but he had made the choice to stay silent, telling himself it wasn't his place to interfere. Now, in the present moment, Olivia was clinging to her dream of a real family. She wanted it so badly she was willing to ignore the warning signs. Ethan's coldness, the late nights, the half-truths. She explained it all away. She needed to believe they could get through it. She was carrying their daughter, a tiny life she already loved more than anything. Every kick and flutter inside her reminded Olivia that she wasn't just fighting for herself, she was fighting for her baby too. The stakes were painfully clear. Olivia wasn't just risking heartbreak, she was risking the life she had worked so hard to build. She feared ending up like her parents, bitter, angry, broken apart. More than anything, she wanted to give her daughter the love and stability she never had as a child. She wanted to believe that Ethan would come back to her, that love would be enough. But deep inside, a small voice whispered that the life she was fighting for might already be gone. Olivia's hands were shaking as she climbed the stairs, Jenna's phone still in her grip. Her heart pounded so loudly she could barely hear the laughter and music from the party downstairs. She found Ethan in the upstairs bedroom, casually scrolling through his phone like nothing was wrong. The sight of him, so calm, so normal, made her chest tighten with anger and heartbreak. She closed the door behind her. Ethan looked up, eyebrows raised in surprise. "What's wrong?" he asked, voice light, almost annoyed. Without saying a word, Olivia held out the phone, the messages clear on the screen. Ethan's face changed, but not in the way she expected. There was no panic, no apology. He just sighed, like a man caught in a boring lie he didn't have the energy to defend. "So, you know," he said, voice flat. Olivia stared at him, waiting for some kind of explanation that would make this nightmare make sense. Ethan put his phone down and leaned back against the bedpost, arms crossed. "I was going to tell you after the baby was born," he said. "I didn't want to stress you out. It's better for her if you stay calm, right?" The coldness in his voice cut through her. Olivia felt like she was outside of her body, watching herself standing there, pregnant and heartbroken, while the man she loved talked about abandoning her like it was no big deal. "You stayed for the baby's sake," she whispered, her voice barely holding together. He shrugged. "Yeah, I mean, you've been different. This pregnancy, you've been emotional, needy. It's been hard-lived. I didn't sign up for this version of you." Tears stung her eyes. She tried to swallow the lump growing in her throat, but it hurt too much. She thought about all the nights she cried alone, all the times she tried to understand his distance, blaming herself, thinking she wasn't enough. And here he was, telling her it was her fault. "I didn't fall out of love overnight," Ethan continued, almost casually. "It's been a while. I just didn't know how to tell you." Olivia felt something break inside her. The man she had loved, trusted with her future, and her child's future, was gone. Or maybe he had never really been who she thought he was. For a brief moment, she imagined storming downstairs, grabbing the microphone from the DJ, and telling everyone what a liar Ethan was. She pictured the gasps, the shock, the chaos. She pictured him humiliated, alone. Part of her wanted it so badly it hurt. But then she felt her daughter move inside her, a small, soft kick, a reminder. She wasn't just Olivia anymore. She was somebody's mother now. She had to think about more than just revenge. Taking a deep breath, Olivia wiped her eyes. She wouldn't give him the satisfaction of seeing her break apart. "Not here. Not now. Get back to the party," she said, voice steady. "Smile for the cameras. We'll talk later." Ethan looked at her for a moment, maybe realizing he had lost whatever power he thought he had over her. He grabbed his phone and walked past her without a word. Olivia stood in the empty bedroom, feeling the weight of the future pressing down on her. Nothing would ever be the same again, but somehow, somewhere deep inside, She knew this wasn't the end of her story. It was just the beginning. She placed a hand over her stomach and closed her eyes. I don't know how yet, she thought, but I will survive this. For you, for us. And with that, she gathered herself and slowly made her way back downstairs, ready to play her part. For now. After the baby shower, everything felt different. The laughter and smiles were gone, replaced by cold silence and fake smiles. Olivia tried to keep up appearances, smiling for photos, thanking guests, pretending everything was fine. But inside, she felt like a hollow shell. Ethan barely spoke to her. He stayed out late, always with some excuse about work or friends. Sometimes he didn't even bother making excuses. Nights felt longer. The house felt colder. Olivia had never felt so alone. She couldn't sit back and do nothing. Quietly, without telling anyone, she started digging. She checked their bank accounts and found strange hotel charges, late-night food deliveries, and rideshare receipts to places she didn't recognize. Then she found hidden social media accounts, ones he had never mentioned. In them, there were messages, pictures, and long conversations with another woman. Not just casual flirting, but real plans, promises, things he hadn't said to Olivia in a long time. Her heart broke all over again. This wasn't just a mistake. This was a life he was building without her. One afternoon, desperate for support, Olivia called her mother. She thought Diane would understand, would comfort her. Instead, Diane sighed heavily and said, "Maybe if you had paid more attention to him, he wouldn't have looked elsewhere." Olivia felt crushed. Instead of feeling seen, she felt blamed. Like all her fears about not being enough were being confirmed by her own mother. Days blurred together. Olivia went through the motions, holding herself together for the baby, but inside she was falling apart. Jenna noticed. Always the one to speak her mind, Jenna sat Olivia down at her apartment, away from the house where Ethan's coldness poisoned the air. "You need to get a lawyer, Liv," Jenna said firmly. "Protect yourself. Protect your baby. You can't wait around for him to decide what scraps he wants to leave you." Olivia shook her head. "I don't even know where to start." "Yes, you do," Jenna said, squeezing her hand. "You just have to believe you're strong enough." Olivia wanted to believe her, but the fear, the heartbreak, the exhaustion, it all sat on her chest like a weight she couldn't lift. Then, one terrifying night, it became too much. Olivia woke up with sharp pains in her stomach. Panicking, she called Jenna, who rushed her to the hospital. Early contractions, the doctor said, brought on by stress. Lying there in the hospital bed, hooked up to monitors, Olivia listened to her baby's tiny, steady heartbeat. She cried quietly, feeling helpless and scared. What if she lost her? What if everything she had dreamed of, the family she wanted so badly, slipped away because of all this pain? But as she stared at the monitor, watching that little heartbeat fight to stay strong, something inside Olivia shifted. She wiped her tears away and placed a hand gently over her stomach. "I won't let him destroy us," she whispered. In that moment, Olivia made a silent promise. She wasn't just fighting for herself anymore. She was fighting for her daughter, for a future where they were safe, loved, and free from the lies that had broken their home. A few days after leaving the hospital, Olivia made a decision. No more hiding, no more waiting. She would end this on her terms. She sent Ethan a text, pretending to be sorry, pretending to want to fix things. She suggested they meet for a special date night at a nice restaurant. "For old time's sake," she wrote, adding a little heart emoji. Ethan agreed quickly, sounding almost relieved. He probably thought she was finally giving up the fight. But Olivia had already spoken to a lawyer. She had the separation papers ready, along with evidence of Ethan's cheating and financial betrayals. It was all neat, clear, and impossible to deny. Everything was in place. The night of the date, Olivia dressed carefully. She wore a simple but beautiful black dress, one she had worn once on a happy night long ago. Her hair was soft around her face, makeup light but flawless. She wanted to look strong, not broken. At the restaurant, Ethan was already there, sitting confidently at a table near the window. He smiled when he saw her, that same smile that had once made her heart race. Now it made her stomach turn. They made small talk for a few minutes, Olivia pretending to be nervous, laughing at his stupid jokes. Then, just as he reached for the menu, a man in a suit approached the table and handed Ethan a large envelope. "What the hell is this?" Ethan asked, frowning. Olivia leaned in slightly, her voice low and steady. It's the beginning of the end, Ethan. You're being served. Ethan's face turned red with anger and confusion. He ripped open the envelope and skimmed the first few pages, his jaw tightening. Before he could speak, another voice broke the moment. It was her, the other woman, Ethan's new girlfriend, standing near their table, looking confused. She clearly thought Olivia would be gone by now, that Ethan would be free. Olivia didn't miss a beat. She turned to the woman and smiled politely. "You must be the gym girl," Olivia said, voice calm. "I'm Olivia, Ethan's wife. For a little while longer anyway." The woman's face turned pale. Olivia reached into her purse and pulled out a few neatly folded papers. She read out loud, Ethan's own words from his text messages. "I'm only staying until the baby is safe. I don't love her anymore. She's too needy now. I'm trapped. I want my real life to start with you." Each word cut through the air like a knife. The other woman backed away, shaking her head. Other diners were now staring. Phones were being pulled out. Whispers filled the room. Ethan stood up suddenly, knocking his chair over. His voice rose, angry and desperate. "You're crazy, Olivia. This is all your fault. You made me miserable. You ruined everything." But nobody was listening. Not the diners, not the girlfriend, not even Olivia. She stood up too, smoothing her dress calmly. Her heart was pounding, but her hands were steady. "No, Ethan," she said quietly. "You did that all by yourself." Ethan looked around, realizing no one was on his side. His new girlfriend grabbed her purse and stormed out without even looking at him. A few people shook their heads in disgust. Some even clapped quietly as Olivia picked up her bag and walked away. Outside, the cool night air hit her like a wave. She felt lightheaded for a second, then free. Tears pricked her eyes, but she held them back. She walked slowly to her car, breathing deeply, feeling her daughter kick gently inside her. It hurt, more than anything she had ever felt. Her dreams were shattered, her heart was broken, but she wasn't broken. For the first time in months, Olivia felt strong. She had faced the truth, she had faced him, and she had walked away with her dignity intact. She wasn't the helpless girl who needed someone to love her anymore. She was a mother now, a protector, a fighter, and she would build a better life, not just for herself, but for the little girl who already depended on her. As she drove home under the stars, Olivia whispered softly to her daughter, "We're going to be okay. I promise you, we're going to be just fine." Olivia didn't waste time after that night. With Jenna by her side, she packed her things and moved into a small but bright apartment across town. It wasn't fancy, but it was hers, a place free from lies and broken promises. She painted the nursery a soft, hopeful yellow and filled it with little things that made her smile. Every stuffed animal, every tiny onesie was a promise to her daughter that their life would be built on love and truth. The legal side took a few tough weeks, but with the texts, receipts, and proof of abandonment, Olivia won full custody of her daughter without much of a fight. Ethan tried at first to make things messy, but even he realized he had no ground to stand on. The court also ordered him to provide financial support, which Olivia accepted, not out of bitterness, but because her daughter deserved stability. Still, Olivia knew healing wasn't just about paperwork or new walls. She started therapy, something she had avoided for years. For the first time, she allowed herself to talk about her lonely childhood, her need for approval, and how she had ignored her instincts just to keep her family together. Piece by piece, she started putting herself back together, stronger than she had ever been. She didn't go back to her old job. Instead, she started her own event planning business, focusing on new beginnings, weddings, baby showers, small celebrations that meant fresh starts. It felt fitting. She wanted to help others celebrate love and life, but this time with open eyes and open hearts. Word spread fast, and soon, Olivia was booking events months in advance. Her relationship with her mother, Diane, also began to change. It wasn't easy. Diane still had her moments, the criticism, the sharp words, but Olivia had learned how to stand firm. She set clear boundaries, something she had never dared before. Surprisingly, Diane began to respect her more for it, and slowly, a more honest connection formed between them. Olivia's daughter was born a few weeks later, healthy and beautiful. Holding her for the first time, Olivia cried tears that washed away years of pain. She wasn't just holding a baby, she was holding a future, one she had fought for, one she had claimed with her own two hands. She no longer needed a man's love to feel worthy. She had her own love, her own power. She became her own anchor in a world that could still be rough and unpredictable. Every time she rocked her baby to sleep, every time she opened her planner to prepare another joyful event, every time she smiled without fear, Olivia knew she hadn't just survived. She had rebuilt herself, stronger, wiser, unbreakable. The apartment was quiet, the kind of quiet that felt full, not empty. Olivia sat by the window in a soft rocking chair, gently swaying back and forth. In her arms, baby Lily slept soundly, her tiny breaths warm against Olivia's chest. The evening sun poured through the curtains, wrapping them both in a golden glow. Olivia brushed a fingertip along Lily's soft cheek and felt a lump rise in her throat. All the pain, all the fear, all the heartbreak. It was still there, but it no longer owned her. It was just part of the story now, a story that had taken a sharp, painful turn, but wasn't anywhere near over. She leaned in close and whispered to her daughter, her voice shaking but sure. "You are so loved, little one. I promise to always choose us no matter what. I promise to be strong for you and to teach you to be strong too. We're going to build something beautiful together, you and me. A life where you'll never have to wonder if you're enough because you already are." Lily stirred a little, her tiny hand reaching out, searching blindly. Olivia offered her pinky finger, and Lily gripped it tight with surprising strength. Olivia let out a soft laugh through her tears. That tiny grip felt like the whole world holding on to her. It was the promise of something better, something lasting. She sat there, rocking slowly, breathing in the sweet scent of her newborn daughter, feeling every broken piece inside her start to heal just a little more. She wasn't naive anymore. She knew there would be hard days ahead, nights of doubt, challenges she couldn't yet imagine, but she also knew this: she wasn't alone, not anymore. Olivia smiled through her tears, kissed the top of Lily's head, and closed her eyes for a moment, just listening to the steady rhythm of her baby's heart. She hadn't lost everything. She had found something better. She had found herself. And this was just the beginning. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join me for more journeys of strength, hope, and new beginning. Your support means everything. See you in the next one.